Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Summoner Society's Agents of Artemis Tournament Semifinals Day 2. I am back. I was here yesterday, obviously, but I'm joined by the amazing Cindy. How are you doing? I would say this evening, but it's like really late for us. It's early evening,
Yeah, it's like 11 for me. I'm kind of tired, but I'm excited to see some games. I've heard all mostly good things.
Yeah, you look very cozy over there.
This is actually a heated blanket. It's electric, so I'm like rocking and rolling right now.
Exactly, you're gonna be nice and warm. And so
Yeah.
obviously here for semifinals day 2, it's gonna be Kitbash versus Vivid Obsidian here. And what are they competing for, Cindy?
Hold on, my notes are open.
The prize pool. They're competing for money, right? But what kind of money?
They are. Alright. So it looks like my notes are just like not working. Okay, so we're sponsored by Berserk. That's very exciting. A little bit of background. They were established in the year 2000s, where Australia's largest alternative. It's like they're like Australia's largest alternative online store. They bring you an amazing like range of clothing, homewares, cosmetics, hair color, shoes, makeup, derby clothing, baby gear, and like pop culture collectibles. Carefully selected from the unique suppliers around the world, and the official the official prize pool is going to be $400 and $11,000 in Berserk vouchers. That's kind of exciting if you think about it.
Yeah, and of course they want the highest split of this prize pool possible here, because we're deciding in this game who is going against ASAP in the grand finals versus who's duking out against Sakura in those third. But first, we have to figure out what the teams today are playing. Obviously, we said it's Kitbash and Vivid, but what agents have we seen Kitbash recently playing? Like, kind of what agents do they enjoy to play? And we can see here a nice spread. Yesterday, I will tell you, Sydney, we had like 3 or 4 chambers per team, which was very interesting because these are the stats of their most played agents during the act, so during competitive, right? So this obviously could change once we get to agent select in these team comps, but it is already pretty spread out, I'll say there, other than like a double controller if they were to go with this lineup. Anything else that you see that's interesting here on Kitbash's side?
The double controller is definitely very interesting, just because you would think you would want more information rather than more smokes. But, I mean, if this team comp works for them, then it works for them. As long as they can play together fairly well, then, I mean, no complaints.
Yeah, if they're comfortable with it, right, they should go for it. And now, we are actually going to go ahead and head over to now checking out Vivid Obsidians and their most played agents. Just so we can find out, how it differs and what map picks we might see on Agent Select when we get there. And like I said, now we got the multiple chambers. We're gonna have to decide who plays it here.
I feel like Chambers, especially in higher elo, he's definitely very, very up there. His pick rate is insanely high. And I think it's just because of the tour de force up there, which is honestly, it's completely fair. But both players have probably very different ways of playing Chamber, and it is what it is. But I'm excited for that.
Yeah, we did see Alana switch from a Jet on Ascent to a Chamber on Icebox when they were playing, and it was just very interesting. It'll be interesting to see if Alana's playing it or the other member of their team, just because we can see how their team comps unfold with the map picks. But what maps are we playing on today, Cindy? What were the vetoes like?
Okay, so I didn't get to organize it all pretty, so I just have like what the broadcasters at us. We've got Pearl. The vetoes were Pearl, Icebox, and then also Fracture. I don't know. I really don't like Fracture, so I'm kind of glad I don't have to do the color for that. Icebox is, I don't know. It's kind of okay. I favor Pearl if anything. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. So these are the 3 maps we're gonna play, right? So Pearl's the first map, Icebox the second. It could go to Fracture if we don't see a 2-0 if it'll be the decider.
I'm kind of hoping not.
I know you're gonna have to color cast it if we want a challenge here. Either way,
Definitely.
It's gonna be really interesting because Pearl, we saw Kitbash win Pearl as one of their 2-0s in the quarters. Yet for Vivid Obsidian, they won Icebox as one of their 2-0 maps in their quarters. So I think it's going to be 1-1 for each team if it's a repeat of the quarters, and then we'll go to Fracture.
For sure.
But who knows? We've seen some interesting things happen yesterday in the semifinals, and it could just be a flip of map picks again.
And I don't know, we've seen some insane things while casting together, so, we'll see.
Either way,
I'm actually fairly excited.
I am too, and with that, I won't hold back your excitement any longer, Cindy, as we go ahead and jump into Pearl, our first map, into that agent select. And what agents are you looking to see? I know you said Pearl's kind of an out there map. Any agents you want to see specifically?
Definitely out there. Honestly, I feel like Viper is definitely a really good pick, and definitely Chamber as well, just because he can hold that flank pretty well, and especially on B. That side is definitely, it's his terrain. I don't know about Sage too much.
I love you, Cinny, but I have to disagree there. I was actually watching one of my favorite streamers, and they were talking about how they don't like Viper on Pearl as much because they're not as much of a team player of a controller
that is very
like some of the other ones. And I think it's my girl's Astra's time to shine as a controller, as Pearl being one of her best maps. Yeah, we've seen
That's
it like...
That's actually really interesting.
Yeah, just the ability to recall those stars and reuse them in other locations with a lower cooldown than some of the other controllers regenerating smokes is really beneficial. Obviously, like, you can pick up a Viper Orb, yes, but like that wall, once it's placed, is useless if you decide to rotate. And like I said, whenever I play Astra, I play only for the team. I don't care about my frags. If you want a star there, you get a star there.
Honestly, her pick rate is so low, I don't really have any stats or any opinions or any plays, honestly, just because I never see her in games, and I don't know, I think it's kind of like the sucky part, just because, I don't know, I love Astra, I love her intro, she's absolutely beautiful. I don't see her as often as we used to.
Well, I'm hoping, like I said, that we'll see her here, chosen by one of the teams, and we'll go ahead and see soon. Are there any like specific duelists that you think do better on Pearl versus like any other kind of duelist pick? Like which ones stand out for you?
I'm trying to think. I feel like Neon is her movement is amazing, but she plays very, very selfishly. Same with Reyna. Reyna's like kit is literally built for lurks.
This is true. Although a good Reyna lurk can turn a whole round around.
No,
round
for
around.
Sure, for sure.
And we are ready now to head into the agent select to see what theories we see coming true. I just want to point out, we got 2 hovers over on those Astras, and I'm wondering, we see the Viper lock in on Artemis over the side of Kitbash, and like, I know you said that you're not a fan of double controllers as much because you don't get that information that you like, but I like it because like it allows for more rotations, it allows for more, like, I guess like you're not so dependent on one person. No, Minerva, you're breaking my heart. I want you to play Astra. Phoenix would be interesting, but Glitch has satisfied my Astra pick. What other things are standing out to you, Cinny?
Looks like we still have that KO hover just a little bit, which is honestly, I don't know how strong KO would be on this map, but his knife definitely could do a lot of like revealing. I was low-key expecting a Sova pick, but honestly, that's totally fine that we don't have a Sova.
Yeah, we saw Dawn on Sova in their quarterfinals, and they were doing one of the games they did really amazing, and we are going to see that double initiator. We can see it'll be nice to get info on both sides, on at least the defending side here. And
your agent.
We're seeing that double controller being hovered. They're leaving us in suspense over on Kitbash. How could they do this to us? But I am guessing that Zara's going to lock in that chamber, and we see it there because they were on it for both maps over on their quarterfinals. But yeah, I got my Astra pick, so you get to see your Astra in action here.
I do indeed. Actually, I'm very excited to see this turn out. Just because, I don't know, I feel like Astra is she's like kind of like low. I mean, I wish I could play her a lot more.
Now, as we go into this map, I just want to talk about Pearl in itself. It's such a lore-heavy map for the VALORANT scene.
No,
like, I feel like it wasn't popular when it came out, but like just the pure lore behind it finally getting introduced into like Alpha and Omega Earths kind of existing was interesting here. And there's your little lore update from Zovi as we gonna go ahead and move into the game.
I definitely agree with you on the Pearl being very, very lore heavy, especially on that defense side. You can see like those statues of Phoenix, Jet, Omen, and Save. Their cards. Very, very excited.
Completely agree here. And what are you taking out this positioning out of either the attack or the defense here? More probably the attack side, since that's where we're going to see some movement early on in the round.
I feel like, I don't know. I feel like this team has definitely an advantage on attack first. Just because there's so many places to go and so many, like, different ways to play this map.
It means they got their map pick and they got their attacking start, which is interesting there. Considering we saw Vivid choose the defense start on this map. And we are seeing, it looks like Soko here trying to fake some presence over on the B side while the rest of the team's making their way up towards A main, led by Katana there, saving their eye maybe for this entry here as they're kind of moving forward. And this again is where that double controller can come out, because you can use that Viper wall you see to fake over on the B side and use Astral Stars to take sight. And it looks like Artemis finds Blitz there to go ahead and clear out Art a little bit, which sets them up for this sight take. So Lana is here, dug out when Soka able to find them, enabling them to basically have a free plant after that, and making it look easy so far. As the rotates come out through connector here, we're going to see Dawn and Art kind of watching for Artemis to come back after getting that initial pick that cleared out in the first place. We're going to see some chamber on chamber action here. Flowers and gets dropped very low health while Dawn finds Katana. Artemis does come back with a flank lurk again, and is able to find not one but two here. Like I said, they're not a team player, but they got the picks, you know? And Zara finds Yubi there to get them very low health, but a 4-person surviving on pistol.
Very interesting. I think I can see that that view of having a controller, of having a double controller so that you're able to fake that sight. That's actually a really good strat, but definitely in like lower elos, you don't really see that as often. So it's a little, I mean, definitely a strat.
Yeah, you can either
like,
use them.
Yeah.
They can either fake sight or they can lurk like we just saw Artemis do, right?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like on Kit, they're definitely gonna, hopefully they take this round. If they don't take this round, it's gonna be unfortunate for their eco.
Yeah, we do see Alana trying to get... they stunned themselves. They were trying to get some aggression there on this, like, eco round, trying to find somebody caught off guard off of that Astra smoke up top mid. Katana looks like they're going to use that eye towards the B side, maybe faking over there alongside their Neon. And we see Alana still holding this aggressive mid position. Bizarro is able to find Dawn, kind of, I don't say baiting for them, but they kind of are. Maybe hopefully for Aspera to find one. Bizarro finds Yubi as well here. And looks like they are heading towards that B side. One and have pushed up. But they might not even need to plant the spike here. As Zara gets a 4K with that Spectre. I think they kind of just gave Zara 1v1s, didn't they?
I feel like at that point they just kept peeking one by one, which was probably what lost them that round there. Because especially when the other team is on a buy, you don't peek them 1v1 like, because they are going to have SMGs or maybe even a rifle if they can afford it. So you just, I don't know, that just wasn't.
That works.
That's not really something you do.
Mm-hmm.
And, like right here, it looks like Kitbash is like their eco's pretty good, whereas Vivid is definitely going for that buy. Both are going to be punished if they lose this round.
This is very true, and that's why you can kind of see Kitbash here playing a little bit more reserved, kind of shooting that fade util, hanging out A main, maybe waiting out some util from the side of Vivid here. We see Artemis once again lurking towards Art's position, this time reinforced by Zara there, kind of them together here. This time we have two kind of leaning towards that Art connector positioning though in order to challenge this. That was a nice stun coming through, but it doesn't connect and Artemis is able to find glitch nonetheless. It somehow jumps across, but I don't think they know that Zara's there as well. They're going to go ahead and send that Prowler out. And it doesn't quite connect as the team starts to try and take. Artemis at half health is still able to find Alana back in dugout before getting hit by that KO knife, as Zara's now kind of falling back, waiting for the rest of the team to get in place. And we are going to see Vivid able to get Soko there and kind of set up this 4v3 retake. See now two members Art here. Vivid now making their way towards site along Vivid not making their way through Art, but they get cut off by Katana and Minerva, kind of swinging that together. And I feel like they're just kind of having issues with this kind of lurking position from mid through Art now.
Yeah, I feel like lurking, especially after post plant, gonna be a little bit of a struggle there, just because for attackers, your main priority is making sure that spike goes off, whereas for defense, your main priority is getting on site and defusing that spike. So lurking before you plant is definitely, it's fine, but as soon as that spike goes down, your full focus should be on that spike.
Well, no, it's been helping them here. We've seen it, Artemis and Zara both kind of draw attention away from the defenders. Like you said, they're trying to get on site, but they're getting distracted by Artemis or Zara there. And here, instead, they're kind of changing things up. I don't see really a lurk coming through at all. They're just doing a full hit led by Soko here, who we know has the gun skills to back it up here, as we see the eye get kind of ping out Yubi from sight. And looks like they're going to have sight as Yubi's dropped to half health. And we see Soko kind of holding this aggressive position here as they're going to try and set up this retake, defending Katana as they go ahead and get that plant down. And it's going to be a 5-on-5 retake there, but Yubi at half health.
This team, Vivid needs to push out or change up their strat, it seems.
We are going to see 3 members kind of stacked in Hall. I usually am against people stacking up with each other, but they're kind of swinging it to well, playing it together, and kind of pushing out one at a time. And it's paying off. You can see Artemis with 2 on Aspera and Alana, and Minerva finding one of their own, playing from that Hall position as well. And now Glitch is left in a 4v1 situation with only a Sheriff here. They're going to swing Zara, who finds the pick and ends the round.
It seems like this team definitely went for Vivid, definitely went for like buy more like Stingers and Eagles. It's really cheap guns, just because their eco they physically cannot, and this buy hopefully will turn things around. But if not, they're gonna be heavily punished for that, because the person who has the most credits is 600, and I don't know. It's kind of concerning just looking at this eco, because this just goes to prove that something needs to change. 5 rounds in and eco's still struggling.
Yeah, and I think it's very interesting because we've seen from past games that they usually play it together, and that's what they're doing. They're kind of like leaving site, waiting to retake it together, but it's not working like it has in past games where they've had like an 80% kill participation. And we're now seeing here them kind of hitting this A site on the side of Kitbash, and this time, you know, a lot of trying to change things up, get aggressive top mid, but it doesn't work as Artemis is there, ready to swing and punish alongside Katana there to reinforce with that fade util. And they're going to swing and be met with Dawn from Art kind of distracting here as well. And we're going to see them kind of push out mid here to try and punish those workers. As we saw, they found Alana. And now they're kind of heading back towards that A site after getting that pick mid. They won't have that site retake power from Alana being gone. And you see that Ash smoke going out to try and deny the site pressure from Glitch. But Artemis caught that 5-first bit that's come out of those lurks here. And we've seen, obviously, Artemis very involved in most of the fights for this team. You can see they just initiated with that Viper's Pit. We've seen
30
them lurk
seconds
through.
left.
And now, they're going to get found, however, by Glitch being a little too involved on the play. Glitch isn't able to connect and find another, getting hit by Minerva after getting traded, but out by Aspera for Vivid. And now it's a 2v2 situation here. They do have the tour de force if they need to as an insurance policy, but what do you think is going to happen for the rest of the round while they set up for this retake?
Flashbang.
I'm only assuming that we're gonna see that tour de force be popped, but honestly, I think Yubi and Aspera just need to play together. One swing,
One enemy remaining.
My ult's ready.
Last player standing.
I mean, they definitely had the thought. They had the dream. Unfortunately, they were not able to go get that dream.
We saw the vision. But yeah, I think the issue there was KO didn't have the knife online, so they were able to kind of clear out if there was a presence art. So we kind of saw, we saw Aspera kind of checking art, and it was just like, didn't know where they were when both of them were main. And so once they pushed out, they were expecting 1 and 2 were there, and obviously they weren't able to get both.
You want to play? Let's play.
And Zara was able to clutch the round because, like we said, we saw Yubi just trying to stick it for them. And now we see that tour de force come online for Zara here as they're going to execute B long. Great position here, obviously, for that ultimate. And Soko going to use that wall to kind of get up close and personal here, kind of get towards screens, maybe able to catch anybody once that wall drops. And it looks like the Prowler is going to detect Zara. And Artemis is going to have to face 2, but gets the collapse. And Katana finds one of their own from Dawn on site. And it's suddenly a 5v2 now, 1, as Yubi decides to finally make advantage of that hall positioning and fall as a result of it. And now it's Aspera with a Sheriff and a dream.
Definitely a dream. There's a dream there for sure.
Soko once again with a high headshot percentage gets the wallbang headshot to kind of shut down said dream.
I'm out of here.
They definitely, and we've got a timeout coming up right here. I don't know. Definitely something needs to change. I know that for a fact, and it looks like Artemis being at the top of the leaderboard, 11-1 on Viper, definitely seems to be more, as we've seen in the past, more of the person who initiates either the fights or just comes up with the plays. It seems like very, very involved with it all. And we've also got the stats that they play together quite a bit, and that's where I think they need to take that to their advantage, is because they're playing together, but they're pushing and they're like making those really aggressive plays on defense. And I feel like they could do better if they played together on site. Like that would definitely go their way.
Yeah, instead of a retake, just kind of defending the site together from the get-go. Another thing I want to point out is that when I was looking at the quarterfinal stats, it seemed like Artemis wasn't necessarily at the top of the leaderboard, maybe because they were that solo controller, so they played a little bit more reserved. But I feel like now having that double controller's taken some pressure off of her. Now she's able to do as she pleases and get more up close and personal, get more aggressive, get those picks for her team, which now we can see has resulted in that 11-1. Very powerful KDA.
Very, very powerful indeed.
Take this.
And we're going to see Soko here with the early stun going towards Art here. And they're kind of just like taking mid-plaza control, using that fade util to clear out connector where Aspera is going to be waiting. We'll see if we see a pop flash or anything. Looks like they're going to try and knife for info instead, but it gets destroyed. Now Prowler's going to force them out. If they are able to get the nade, and we see the Nightfall come out from Fade here, partnered with a Prowler to kind of deny any presence here or any control over late. Since we know now they're kind of forced back into connector. And Kitbash doesn't like this, and they're deciding to go back towards Art instead, where Alana is waiting and good for 2 before getting taken out by Soko. But Glitch is still on site. We are going to see a confrontation between controllers here over towards A main. We did see Glitch trying to kind of lurk until the Kitbash took site, and they're going to use this Nightfall here now to go ahead and take site effectively, get that spike planted. It is a 3v3 retake. Both members basically at full HP, equivalent HP here. Basically equal buys, Vandals all around, except very different comps here. We have the controller and the controller duelist initiator versus the double initiator and sentinel. And Yubi's gonna find one, and they know where the last person is. They are dug out, and Soko left to keep it alive. And Vivid will get the defuse in their first round in the series.
Push no button. Save the day. Easy.
Playing together as a team, especially coming from like mid art area, definitely I think helped them. Waiting for each other. Like as I've said before, Vivid has been known to work fairly well together as a team, and it worked out in their favor in this time around. Definitely getting that this one round definitely has to boost their mental. Because after losing 6 in a row, I think I'd get discouraged after a while. So hopefully they don't face that.
Yeah, and I will say we did see a little bit of a different play there. They kind of split retook instead of retaking all from the same position there on the side of Vivid. And we saw Yubi making some plays there, which is amazing considering they are Vivid's playmaker. Maybe they coordinated that retake there, and maybe we'll see some more plays like that where they have that like breakdown of the defense, or not defense, the breakdown of the site hold coming out of Kitbash here, which looks like they're trying to imitate over on that A site, maybe fake a rotate using that jet dash, or sorry, that neon dash slide, whatever you want to call it. Either way, movement diff. And we're going to see Zara kind of alone here on mid plaza. They're going to pop flash. He's going to miss and blind themselves here. And Zara's going to find Aspera, drop down to 7 bullets here. Glitch alone on site where they met with 4 people main. And it's just a bloodbath now. It's a 3v2 situation. It looks like Katana is going to get the spike down with Minerva holding their cross. And Dawn, however, from that mid-plaza position is able to find Artemis before they can get into a good hold position. And now Yubi's there to reinforce. But Katana getting up close and personal and aggressive here, leaving Minerva now in a 2v1 situation. Prowler goes out from Vivid Dawn and it gets punished immediately. And Minerva now falls back. Maybe they have a star online to go ahead and play some lineups here. It looks like they are going to use that Whirl, that Astral Pull. And now it's gone. There's nothing here anymore. We're not seeing any pros don't fake here. We're just seeing them kind of hold and have some patience. And Minerva with the clutch. We don't quite get punished from giving them that 1v1s, but it does end up working out on the side of Kitbash.
I've noticed that Minerva doesn't have stars, like not very many for pros plant, which is really interesting actually. Just because I would expect as an Astra player on attack, for you to save at least one so that you're able to pull for the if they do tap once, you're able to pull so to screw them up just a little bit. And with Minerva, I don't see that, which is honestly really interesting. They must have like a lot of faith in their gun skills and their ability to just listen.
Well, they did use the wall there. It was just hard to see. I think it was a little bit off positioning, so it didn't quite pull them as far as Minerva probably wanted it to. Like, they probably could have stuck it here. But either way, we're seeing some aggression out of Vivid here. They are able to find the trade with a lot of with that Sheriff here. But while they're fighting mid, we see Kitbash able to take the B side, and now it's a 4v2 situation with those two mid players being the last ones alive for the team. Vivid now does have a better gun here. They were able to collect, I believe it's a Phantom. Sometimes skins are hard to look at. Yes, it is a Phantom. I mean, again, see that 3-man stack overhaul, but that wall from Alana is able to isolate at least one where they're able to find Soko, and now it's Katana's turn here where Dawn's able to find them, and now it's suddenly a 2v2 situation, possibly in the favor of Vivid here since they know where people are, but Minerva able to swing out of halls and find one, isolating those 1v1s, and now a 3k from Minerva to bring this back from what looked like a grim 4v2.
Very, very interesting what we saw here. I feel like, yeah, defense is being a tad bit aggressive, which is going to be their downfall for this map. It's gonna definitely give, it's gonna give to definitely make this. I want to say, like, the way they're going, I can see this easily going to be 11 to 1. Definitely.
We saw the neons. You guys can't see it probably on stream, but we saw the neons hyping each other up in all chat. Very wholesome. Because Alana, I think, is still trying to warm up, considering in the last series they played in the quarterfinals, they were one of the top fraggers with 39 in the last match kills. And we're not quite seeing that here, obviously, with that. They're warming up, we saw. They were 2-9, and now they're 4-9 after that last round with using their util very effectively to isolate 1v1s. And now, while I was saying that, they've completely taken sight here. It's a 5v5 retake. And once again, we're seeing if Vivid's able to set up this, like, playing together on this retake to see if it'll kind of help them. But this util is definitely delaying any vision, any knowledge as they're trying to retake.
Here we go. Where are we?
We're seeing Soko shut down Alana with their ultimate, like that ult drive, and we're gonna see Dawn with the Sheriff try and find it, but whiffs just barely for Minerva to add another one to their KDA.
These guns we use are okay, but I will also bring my own.
Very interesting, that flank. I'm not sure if you saw it, but there were, I think, two on flank. That was, like I said, very, very aggressive for defense's part. I feel like they should focus more of their attention, more of their energy on, not retake per se, but definitely holding and not flanking. Just because it definitely does seem to be their downfall.
Yes. And like I said, I'm thinking we're just not seeing as, I don't want to say as strong a performance out of some of Vivid star players this map. They're definitely still trying to get warmed up, find comfort in these different picks. Obviously they didn't play Pearl. This is Kitbash's pick, Kitbash's playground. They won it in their 2-0. And once again, you just said that you didn't want to see a flank, but Vivid is on the flank with Glitch and Alana playing off of each other. And this time it works, so they're able to find Zara and Katana respectively. And Artemis is forced to fall back towards Art with the rest of their team. They are going to have a clear A site here and probably get the plant. And Artemis has the Viper's put online, and they are in fact going to pop it even though they only have 30 HP. It's going to be a 3v3 retake, very similar health stat lines for both teams.
That Viper pit took up a majority of site. It's going to be really, really hard to take that.
We see Minerva here with the lurk. Will not be able to find Alana here. We'll get another headshot, and we're going to see them making their way through Art. I think they were able to see 2 of them there. Not quite 3. It is a 3v2 situation, but that Viper's Pit will hopefully level the playing field just a little bit here. They're playing from backside this time, but the Viper's Pit is going to drop because Glitch finds them. And from that corner, Soka's able to find 1 before getting traded out by Glitch, who will be good for the defuse, giving Vivid the 2nd round on this map.
Very impressive with the way that they were able to play that and hold that. Not pushing what we've seen in the past. They definitely were a little
Last round in the half.
to begin with, but definitely backing up, playing with each other is definitely the way to go.
Yeah, and I feel like we're seeing Kitbash not really a fan of that 2 round now that they've picked, those 2 rounds that they've picked up here. Obviously, they don't want them to pick up any rounds, but they're probably talking a little bit about how those holds after they get the spike counter going, because they're getting these really like clean sight takes, obviously. But then holding it, we've seen it fall apart now twice. That's the 2 rounds that they were to pick up on. What else do you think they're talking about over there on both sides now?
I want to say maybe the defense is telling them not to push or be as aggressive as they used to, because I feel like this round only worked out because they weren't as aggressive as they were. They were able to be aggressive, just passive aggressive. A little bit aggressive, but there's still some aggression there, but not, you know what I'm talking about.
I know it completely. We saw Alana and Glitch get aggressive through a main and find those picks on top mid in mid plaza, but then they didn't keep pushing. They fell back and waited for the rest of their team, and that's when they were able to then get to Art and play that retake together through the Viper's Pit. And like you said, knowing when to be aggressive is what we think Vivid needs to work on, and just being able to set up their post plant plays faster on the side of Kitbash to ensure that they don't close the gap on this 2-9 game.
I feel like maybe it might be a 9-3, but it's definitely
Interesting half.
Very interesting half.
And we're going to see a full aggression hit here on the B side. They will be left alone. No rendezvous because they rendezvoused out from that aggressive pillar position with the Bulldog. And once again, it's going to be a 5v5 retake here as they were able to effectively take sight together. This time, however, Zara is able to find Yubi before the rest of the team can arrive, and now finds Aspera as well using that Nightfall. Artemis is able to swing as find Dawn as well, but Glitch is saying nope, and it's able to get Katana and Minerva here, keeping them alive now in a 2v2 situation. But Artemis is in heaven of all places, and I don't think they're going to expect this here, but Glitch does, and is able to save their partner, save Alana here for sticking the defuse. It might have gotten half, I wasn't quite looking at it, but it's Zara there swinging out of pause to get the 4K and lose hope of that 9-3 curse. It's a 10-2 half, and looking grim for Vivid Obsidian in this first match.
I feel like this half, I feel like I strongly believe that Vivid could very much do this because of the aggression that they're showing. Definitely could be their half. It was a very interesting half for sure. It definitely, they were able to almost use that aggression against them because it was almost anticipated that they were going to go from flank. They were going to come from behind and just... And I'm glad they anticipated it. But I feel like Kit woke up and they definitely chose violence for this map. It is their map.
This is true, and like you said, those coordinated hits are where Vivid shines, and I think they are all going towards A main here. Nobody's leaving an R. Lana with the entry using that wall, but there's 2 members dug out waiting. Does find Artemis as they spray through the smoke with that ghost, but I don't think they know that Katana is also dug out. They're continuing to spray nonetheless, and they're kind of just waiting for the rotate. And Alana isn't going to check that corner where Katana's able to punish them, and Minerva now finds Aspera and Yubi on that Art positioning. Is dropped to very low HP here. They do get the smoke off on main, and they are going to stick it using that Neon util. They kind of get off the spike because of the util from Glitch though, however, and it is going to be stuck now that whirlpool is gone and Astral's House is gone, and the use is good. Very low health from everybody, but they survived nonetheless, and it now is an 11-2 game.
I feel like Soko definitely carried that round, just a little bit. Being able to really go in that Astra smoke and just have no fear. I would have a little fear. But that's just me. But then again, I mean, Soko built different for real.
Yes, we've seen that in the stat lines. And I do want to point out, like, before it went like down the drain, Alana was doing very well clearing out like that backside, holding that aggression, and they just made one little slip up there that kind of cost them like the control over backside and allowed them to kind of move in, and it forced the rest of the team to kind of take up that like A main positioning. And they really just need to be like more spread out on site and not give them as much control over the site. And that's exactly now kind of what they're doing, trying to get more map control. Instead of hitting one side, they're kind of split between mid plaza and A main here. Alana getting up close and personal. Looks like they're going to be first point of contact against Artemis here, possibly. But there's not just one, but there's two members here, as Aspera is also there to reinforce his positioning. And they're going to find them looking over at Aspera. They're going to pop flash and not quite find them with the Sheriff, but Glitch is there to save the day after collecting Alana's Spectre. And now we have two members in this smoke link, and they're not going to realize it, even with the chamber, even with that chamber like tripwire going off, and then Zara with two, Katana with one. They do obviously have Dawn able to get the trade, and now it's a 1v1 situation, some fade on fade action, but we do see obviously that Katana's at half health versus Dawn's at full.
Spike planted.
It was really interesting what they did there. Really aggressive on Vivid playing together, but also being very aggressive.
Bring them down.
Part of the reason I think that this is very much going to be the half.
Yeah, and we're seeing Katana trying to use that fade use to collect some info. Might be doing a pros don't fake here, as they're kind of like, where could they be? And they are up heaven. Dawn's able to find Katana and keep them alive, now bringing it to a 3-11 scoreline as we go into the next round.
It was very interesting, I was half expecting to see a wraparound from Dawn, just because of just how they've been playing. They've been doing a lot of flanking, a lot of interesting, and honestly, I'm like pleased with the way that Dawn was able to play that.
I completely agree. And like I said, Alana's been doing a great job taking space with her team, but then there's those small mistakes like not catching it, like not checking the corner, dodging the flash from Aspera at the wrong time, or Aspera at the wrong time, and it's just been punished by Kitbash like relentlessly here. We are going to see Glitch playing alone towards that B site, and we try and see Dawn save them, but Soka's able to punish them with a frenzy of all things. Is going to try and fake and collect that Spectre and then get out of there. They are going to be found by Yubi with the Bulldog, and the Headhunter from Zara trying to get the trade and only gets them down to half health, but going hunting here possibly, while the spike however is going to be planted by Aspera on the B site. And we do see they just barely missed the flankers, and they're going to swing on the two of them here. Yubi going to face them against Zara and finds them before getting traded out by Katana. Oh wait, I misread that. So either way, they got the trade on somebody. As I set up for the retake, 3v2 situation. Or sorry, now 2v2.
Last player standing.
Intense, especially after all that's happened.
Yes, and we're gonna see Aspera detect Zara is long here with that Spectre, and Alana with the Vandal able to connect and get a 3k there. Like I said, Alana being able to take space here, and it's just amazing here. But Zara wasn't able to close out the round. Alana now waking up, trying to get now into the positives here on their KDA, trying to get those kills that make a difference here. And what do you think else are they gonna pull out here as they start closing this gap, Sunny?
I want to see. I don't think I saw much ultimate usage last half.
This is
A
true.
bummer. So I'm hoping we're gonna see a little bit more of the ultimates. Just because some of them are very, very powerful, especially on this map.
Yeah, we can see Zara with the rendezvous out of that position over towards B main after getting the initial info that there are more than just one person faking over that B side. And now we see some immediate rotate on the side, Kitbash over to B to reinforce this push. But Vivid isn't hitting. They're just kind of spraying through that smoke, just kind of playing together. And it looks like Artemis realizes this as they now kind of rotate back towards that A site. But Soko is able to find Alana taking out that kind of site hit power, that duelist. And now they're kind of left in a 5v4 situation with the spike not planted and only less than a minute left on the clock. That
That rotate, I would not recommend that rotate. especially since there's very little time on this clock.
It does look like they're faking it here while trying to get some of their members in a more like advantageous position, like we see Glitch now is repositioned towards mid plaza. Like Katana was waiting,
left.
and we also saw Yubi waiting in, or sorry, we saw Zara waiting in Link to take them, and we are gonna use that Nightfall instead to retake sites because they don't have Ilana there with their ultimate, or sorry, Ilana there with their power as a duelist, but Zara falls to Asper, who was able to save a member of their team. Glitch once again at aggressive positioning here, but Dawn's able to find one more, and now Dawn is left with only 5 seconds left on the clock, and Minerva just coming in like a truck, able to find 2 and secure the round.
Match point.
I'm happy that I was able to see that that ultimate usage, and especially, oh my goodness, Zara gave me a heart attack because I thought that they weren't going to be able to get out in time, but luckily they had that rendezvous. Luckily they were able to get out. Still give me a heart attack. These plays are gonna age me, I swear.
Yeah, and for all you Vivid Obsidian fans, you know it's match point. Fear not. This was obviously Kitbash's pick, and they know that they could win on this map because it was one of their 2-0 maps in their quarterfinals. But the next map is one of Vivid Obsidian's quarterfinal 2-0 maps. It's on Icebox. So we'll definitely be seeing, I'm sure, a completely different team, a completely different dynamic there. So fear not, stick around for that. But this game's not over yet. If they play perfectly, they could go to OT. You know, I see the vision if they play together well enough. For example, we see most of them stacking over towards this A site, which we see now Chamber lurking towards Link, maybe gonna set off that trip to try and make it seem like they're going here. And we're gonna see some trades on the ultimate. You see the walk master go up along with that no command out of Aspera, and Artemis says no and is able to get 3 of them. Kind of 2.5 if you don't count Aspera quite yet. Katana now swings out as well to find one of their own, and a flawless close out our first map.
Flawless.
That was very much of a GG's towards teams. Both teams did absolutely wonderful, but Vivid definitely struggled. That was really unfortunate. The way they were being really aggressive.
Yeah, like I said, Zara was a standout in their first quarterfinals, obviously being a top frag. Artemis has, like I said, having that double controller allowed them to play more selfishly and able to like have those lurks, have those standout moments like we saw in the flawless last round where they got that 3K, just be able to swing out without worrying about what their wall will do for their team once they're trying to retake a site. And on the other hand, for Vivid, we just didn't see a standout of a performance from Alana or Dawn. Like Dawn in their first match, they had 9 deaths in the 2 maps that they 2-0'd in their quarterfinals against Daylight Savers. And here, just in 1 map alone, they had 15 deaths, you know? So as we go into Icebox, even though it is Vivid's map, what do you think they have to change?
I mean, if they're gonna be as aggressive as they were, Vivid being as aggressive as they were on defense, I don't think it's gonna work out. But if they do end up being on attack, it might give them a little bit of a boost. Just because if it's more like I've said before in past games that we've cast together, if it's 3 or more round like in between, it's definitely gonna be hard to pull back from that, eco wise, strat wise, and just overall.
Yeah, and I think before we go to a break, stick around. Like I said, based on these map picks, we are going to Icebox next with Fracture as the decider. And even though it was a 4-13, a little bit of a blowout here, it wasn't like, I don't think it's that big of a deal personally. Like I said, we saw like these teams 2-0 in the quarterfinals, which is like a trend we've seen. And like, they could pop off on their map. I know, for example, like I can go from being a bottom frag, 3 kills the entire game, to then like almost 30 kills just by a map change. Not even changing the agent possibly, just because of like having better practice, you know, your crosshair placement, or really anything.
It's definitely maps that really sometimes mess people, like screw people up just a little bit. Which is honestly, that's fair. Everyone has good maps, everyone has bad maps, and if you just looking at your own tracker, just looking at those maps, like what your strongest one is, and you can tell which one of your favorites based on how good you are on that. And I don't know, sometimes like you said, it's not even the agent, it's just the map.
Either way, speaking of agents and players, who are you going to be keeping an eye on as we move into Icebox, Cindy?
Oh my god, I'm excited.
For either team, which agent or which person are you going to be keeping an eye on the most?
I'm thinking Artemis just a little bit because, like we've said before, Artemis is very much the playmaker here. So I'm also looking at Artemis, and I'm also looking at UB because it was stated to us that you maker for Vivid.
I can completely agree on Artemis. That was also, I think, my pick for who I'm going to keep an eye on. Mainly because, like, Icebox can be, you know, another Viper's playground, and they're getting warmed up versus, like, in the quarterfinals, they had swapped over from, like, Omen on Ascent to then the Viper on Pearl. A Viper on, I'm guessing it was Viper on Icebox, and we've already seen them do well there. And the other player that I'm going to keep an eye on is Alana. Alana was a top fragger in their quarterfinals and now are kind of like off to a rougher start around the edges. Like, they've been doing some really great plays and taking sites for their teams, but it's just those small mistakes that are giving up essential map control when they're playing post-plant.
Yeah, it's definitely losing map control. It's definitely going to be, it's going to break that, especially if it's not being able to gather those rounds.
And with that, we will be taking a short break, but do not, like, leave your seats other than to get a drink of water, use the restroom, whatever you want. But please come back because I don't think we're going to see a blowout or any sort of same game that we saw in Pearl. Either way, this is Agents of Artemis Tournament Semifinals Day 2, and we will be right back. I feel like, even though Dawn was the top frag, I feel like most of our attention wasn't on her in the first map for whatever reason. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Maybe,
Yeah, I kind of want to see Artemis. Yeah.
I feel like Zara, yeah, because that's the one we were talking about as well. Oh, wait, I lied. Yeah, wait, let me double check. I'm looking at the vid right now.
See, we just got the stats from last game, so we're gonna go over them real quick. It's because it's very interesting. So we've got Artemis, and then we've also got Glitch. What do you think about this, Zoe?
I think the controllers are getting some love and recognition they deserve for each team. These were their obviously like some top tier plays. Artemis obviously being the MVP of the whole team, Glitch being only 1 kill off of MVP really, and it was interesting to see how differently they played because Artemis obviously had like the other controller to depend on. They had Artemis, or sorry, they had Artemis. They had Minerva there as well, so that they could kind of play how they wanted, get more aggressive there. And even though we see a difference in those kills, both were effective for their team in different ways. Like we can see like higher headshot percentage on Glitch than Artemis, right? But it was just very different play style for each controller.
Very much so. I definitely agree with that. I feel like both controllers did a very, very good job. I think I favor Astra a little more on this map. Mm-hmm. Like we said at the beginning of the next game,
I've changed you. I've converted you.
You have. Oh my goodness. And I'm usually very, very stubborn. So you should take a trophy. I'll give you like a trophy or something because it's really hard to move me. It was definitely really interesting.
Yeah, like we said, if Artemis was the only controller for their team, I don't think she would have played nearly as like, not only as well, but as like aggressive, as like flamboyantly as she did. And so like that's where like it's hard to compare these two, but we wanted to kind of observe that and how that double controller comp just completely changed like Artemis's role on their team.
Very much so. It gives having that double controller really gave them like that room and that ability to just like wiggle room is really, really, especially that pick.
And so as we move into Icebox, do you think we're going to see another double controller composition? Or I personally think we'll see some Sages instead of the double controller. Personally, maybe a double Sentinel.
I think, yeah, we're going to, maybe, I'm praying we'll see some double Sentinels, but you know what? Only these players are going to tell us otherwise.
Yes, I personally love some good Graham walls and some good walls just like to close off certain angles that like they don't have as much control. Denying plant. Yes, securing a defuse.
God.
Like Sage's walls are amazing.
No, for real. If you use them properly, especially the Grim walls. Oh my god.
What's
Grim
your favorite like... Icebox?
Okay, my favorite wall on Icebox. Okay, so you know like that little statue, but like not the statue thing, but like where people really like mostly plant by, like that leads kind of into kitchen. If you wall if you wall like that entrance to kitchen properly, you can get on top and get like a view over like to yellow, and it's insane. I love seeing that being played. It's honestly amazing.
And I will say very similar to that wall for me is it's like in nest there. It goes towards like mid, so you can view both below tube and also see yellow, so you can hold both those positions. Because I can't do that little jump around. I can't do that. I'm not good enough.
Oh my god, it's crazy. I love that, Matt. I love that so much.
Exactly. And so before we... Oh, sorry, go for it.
Okay, go. I was gonna talk about Grim walls.
What were you saying?
Grim walls. Like... Okay, so we're not going to see any Ascent, which I'm really, really sad about. But there are a couple walls on, I know, okay, so I met this guy in, like, Unrated, and what he did was he took me into customs, and specifically on Ascent, he showed me, like, 3 walls for, like, each, like, mid, A, and B, on both attack and defense, and it was the coolest thing ever. I still use some of those walls today.
I think one of my favorite Sage walls on Icebox, that's like a run it down when you have like, when you're like very like down bad in the game, is that you buy like Frenzies, you buy like a Spectre or you buy a Phantom, and you take Kitchen, you don't go to site, you go to their spawn to Snowman, and then there's that little lip that you can wall across and plant. So your whole team just, this is low elo strat, guys, low elo strat, you know, we're platinum gold here. But just like walling it off and then just being able to cut off the rotates there, because they don't expect you to be, all of you to be playing there. As long as you get the trades, like, there's nothing much that they can do there. It's more of an issue when the people are coming from kitchens. You just gotta be, maybe, like, leave another person on the other side of the wall kind of thing to deal with those.
It's insane. Sometimes low elo plays work just in higher elo just because they don't know what to do. It's like you don't see this stuff in like the upper elo and it's
Panic wall.
Oh my god, honestly, you have no idea how many sages I've seen panic wall themselves in and it just like screws them over. It's kind of funny. I'll be honest with you, it's kind of funny.
I will say recently I did play Sage on Icebox and I was doing bad the entire first half. And then like obviously like there's Sentinel, they should do good on the defense, which is what we were on and I was doing bad on. And then once we swapped over to attack, just like some of those walls that help you like ensure plants, help you get into weird positions, or even just knowing when to rotate is just like really like great on a Sage. And like I do want to point out Yubi, who played Chamber on the last map, did play Sage in their game against Daylight Savers. So like I said, we might be seeing that Sage pick over on the side of Vivid, and we'll see if it makes a difference. Because obviously, I think it made a difference in their quarterfinals, where they won that game 13-2. So we did just see, obviously, a 13-4, but like 13-2, like that's even more of a blowout if they're able to repeat it against Kitbash here. Yeah.
It's honestly, I'm praying we'll see some Sage walls, but if not, I'm kinda, I mean, Chamber's pick rate is really, really high on Icebox, so I'm assuming we're gonna see some either some Chamber action or some Sage action.
Well, we can go see if Alana locks in that Chamber that they played in the quarterfinals as we move into Agent Select here on Icebox. And you can already see Zara hovering, Alana hovering on those Chambers. Glitch hovering Harbor. I'm guessing that's a joke, but we will see. Artemis with the Viper pick. Soko with the Jet. And I do want to say that I believe, I was going to say, forgot who it was, but I'm wondering, we're only seeing a Yoru on Yubi over there. We're not seeing Sage like we saw in the last quarterfinals. Anything else that's kind of interesting to you right now?
Honestly, I'm seeing the more default type of typically played on Icebox. I'm seeing some hovers over Jet, seeing some over Sage, Sova. Oh my god, what is doing? Vivid's scaring me right now.
Random comp. They're just trying to meme the casters, you know. Either way, Minerva, don't start memeing us by switching to a Phoenix. Either way, we see Soko lock in the Jet. Oh my gosh, they're going all Yoru, guys. This is replication now.
This is
either way,
replication now, baby. You thought this was a normal game? No.
But Kitbash, on the other hand, they're not going to have that double controller here, so we'll be able to see how Artemis's playstyle changes, right? While on the side of, Vivid, we're seeing a double initiator, and like I said, we're seeing double sentinel out of both teams, which I predicted, haha. And we're now just going into this map. We can see where we're seeing now the B side where we were talking about those grim walls.
I love grim. Very definitely interesting. And the strats that I'm hoping to see is maybe, I want to say B, just like maybe mostly like site domination. I'm not really seeing any mid, no like mid plays. Just because Vivid seems like the type they would play mid. I mean that with the most love in my heart, Vivid, please don't at me. It's just, it seems like that, you know?
The aggressiveness we saw in Pearl, understandable. And
yes.
I personally did not watch the VODs, but we know that Vivid dominated on Icebox in their quarterfinals versus Kitbash. We haven't seen them play on Icebox. And while we are seeing some similar team comps, instead of Artemis being on controller, we're seeing Katana maintain Initiator, but swap from Fade to Sova. It's very similar, other than Minerva swapping over to the Sage instead of the Astra. But they are both support players, so I think it'll be a very similar role when we see the lineup coming out for that orb here as they're setting up for a B take. A lot of them B main with that chamber trip on the flank. And we're gonna see a knife come out as they're setting up this retake. Not this retake, the site take.
Wall raised.
And that dart is able to take Soko.
Toxin screen down.
We see the green wall glitch here, or I'm seeing the green wall glitch on my screen in front of the stage
Just
wall,
a little
so
bit.
it's funny.
Just a little bit. It very much
But
so.
Glitch is next to the glitch stage wall. Holding is able to dink Artemis before falling back, maybe to play some molly lineups to go ahead and see what they plan to do. I do want to point out Soko's positioning on yellow was very effective there as they were able to swing around. And that dart kind of screwed up their plan a little bit from that Sova, which was an amazing dart out of Dawn. And here it is. We're going to see a sage wall come out just to try and get that defuse, and we see Artemis playing around the wall to defend their sage, but they fall anyways, and Artemis with the 3K to get that defused.
It's very interesting how they played that. I have very, very high hopes for Vivid on this map just because we were told that Vivid dominated like a lot on Icebox, and honestly I don't know how to feel about Kitbash right here because, well, one, we haven't seen them play on here, but two, it's like Kitbash team chemistry, which is honestly beautiful.
We are seeing some mid pressure here like you kind of thought you would want to see, and they're just kind of using that orb to gain some positioning here. Maybe they'll be able to get a pick off a boiler with that headhunter here as they're holding mid. And they're just kind of making their way. Kind of playing more defaulted here. We do see some presence over on the A site here. Them kind of having the spike over towards that end. And we see now not Artemis, sorry. I'm trying to get some stats queued. We do see Artemis, haha! I was just foretelling. Artemis playing aggressive towards B main, isn't able to find anybody, and Soko's going to swing out with that Spectre to find Alana. And it looks like they are going to try and come into this A side, but Sage Minerva walls it off, and he's able to get the pick on Dawn here. And Glitch is able to use the classic and pick on Dawn after that whiff. But Minerva's going hunting for Glitch, who they know only has a classic, and the spike is dropped. 45 seconds left on the clock as the Viper Wall from Artemis is going to come out further than nice sight. And Soko updrafts on the 4 trying to find not one, but 2 taking out Glitch and UV.
I was not expecting that mid pressure right there, but honestly I was kind of impressed that they did put a little bit of pressure on mid, which is, I feel like once you lose mid, it's gonna be, honestly, everything's fair game. Especially with right now, with what's going on. Kid is definitely dominating this, oh my god, Vivid just went for the buy. Okay, that's fine. No need to panic. Yeah, I think they're forcing just a little. Okay. Just a tad.
And we're just kind of seeing here, we're seeing Glitch. They're playing very defaulted here, right? So we see 2 in B main, we see 2 in A main, and we see Glitch just kind of hanging out in spawn here, trying to get info of anybody that's pushing through mid. But it's Zara that had pushed through tube, getting some aggression and getting that first blood off of Glitch here. And the stage wall is going to rotate over on the A side, so they don't know where the spike is going. And right now it's going nowhere. It's dropped outside of the A site here. And we're seeing Dawn making some noise, and now the team's kind of rotated. They have 4-man pressure leaning towards A, and it looks like Asper's trying to catch it. He rotates through mid towards that A pressure, that A presence that they found. It looks like they are going to try and re-hit this A site, because we see now, we're seeing Alana also make their way over, and they are able to connect to mid, and they get a little bit of health dinked off them. And now they're going towards a 3-stack site, and the rest of the team is on their way. And that Viper wall is going to just deny them any pressure through there. Yuvi's going to be able to maintain and grab that orb before crossing through. 2 seconds left on the clock, and Zara sprays them through the smoke before rendezvousing out.
10 seconds left.
And with the clock ticking down, Artemis is able to find Dawn. Dawn's able to find Minerva. And Asper on the reload gets taken out by Soko.
I'm shocked actually, because Vivid did decide to force up here, and you would assume, as Vivid is, and they forced it, they would be able to. But it just seems like, I don't know, Kit is just, they're so much better with being able to play together, and putting them on defense. It's very, very different. Because we saw them they were on attack first last game, right? It's very interesting to see that, because they know how to play their sides.
And we are gonna now kind of see some. They're not as spread out. Looks like they are both all collectively going towards the B site for Vivid. But Spike is still just hanging out B main here. UB somehow made it all the way to kitchen, and Chamber has been taken out. Obviously, Zara just getting killed. That trip is not going to detect them there. And Asper's able to find Artemis here. They're definitely making something of this econ round. We are going to see some action here, though, as Katana's going to enter and not check the corner. But UB whiffs, saving Katana's life, basically. That would have been big if they collected that gun here. It looks like the spike is going to probably get planted here by Dawn on the B side. It's a 4v3 situation on the switch take. But we do see, however, that Asper's very low on HP. As the Viper wall drops, Soko's gonna go ahead and swing yellow here and try to find someone. And go ahead and smoke out the alternative angle. And Alana is gonna get spotted and taken out by Soko here. They have the Blaze Storm online if they want to use it. They get one by the dart, and the wallbang comes through 3k from Soko. And they're gonna go ahead and search for it. But Asper is looking through mid with 21 HP. Katana able to find the other part of that puzzle. 2 from Katana, 3 from Soko for the retake. With Minerva, like I said, being that Sage from Astra, playing a support character, going for the defuse, getting that wall up, playing obviously for the round win, not necessarily those kills, which personally, you know, is how I play too on these kind of games.
Looks like we've got a timeout starting. I was so scared because Zara was pushed up so far down B, and I was like, oh, this is not gonna end well. And at first I thought, when Zara was taken out, I thought that that was gonna be a round loss, but luckily it's like Soko was able to definitely pick up what they weren't able to like finish. I kind of want to see the Zara's stats just a little bit. I want to see how many first bloods they were able to get, how many and especially how many clutches Soko was able to get as well. Just because Soko definitely seems the type to be a literal clutch god.
Yeah,
what are your thoughts?
Like we said, we've seen Zara already with one first blood. Like this game, we saw them be able to find. They found glitch like in that mid positioning that they pushed up on, playing off of glitches. Playing off of playing off of
Names
Artemis's YouTube. There it is. And like Soko got 8 first bloods last match. So between them two, that's 12 first bloods. Like, it's just like going like they're very like aggressive when it counts, and like we're gonna see that here and how it applies to them on this defense. It's obviously working so far. It's 4-0. That's why they took their timeout to stop the momentum. And Artemis gonna go ahead and further stop some momentum.
Here.
And B main on the other side. We are gonna see Blitz get pinged by that Silverdrone. Katana mid here. Zara with the operator here. However, we haven't seen Zara up yet in this series, so this will be fun to see. Obviously, we see the tour de force, but an op is interesting. We'll go ahead and see them kind of peek out, and they do get spotted the gun to that barrel by Glitch, who gets the trade or gets the shot off. It's now a 5v4 situation. Artemis still playing in that Viper's pit, and we see Soko playing more reserved here in that positioning on the B site. Look like they are trying to go and search for Artemis in this Viper's pit though, because Katana's winning that mid positioning. I'm wondering if Minerva's going to make anything out of this A position.
Makes me, because they had both mid pressure, and then we have Artemis over here in this ultimate, which honestly, Viper ultimates scare me. When I'm up against a Viper ultimate, it scares me. But when I'm in the Viper ultimate, I'm also scared of them.
Yeah, by waiting here and not playing off of that initial kill on Zara and Kitchen, they've now given Soko time to go over Raptors, but it doesn't matter as Asper's able to connect and get that pick. One Nervous spotted by the dart and taking out, and Alana on the other side of the map with their lurk, able to find Katana mid. Artemis trying to fight back out of that Viper pit, gets out that flanks the flanker, and is able to get Alana before, I think, opting to save the operator here from Zara, which obviously they're 4 rounds up. I think they can afford it. Maybe get some exit picks here as they're kind of clearing a belt, and it looks like they are going to just run back towards the main.
That save is definitely interesting, especially because it is an operator, and that would save their. It wouldn't help their eco all that much, but it would. They do have a 4,700 credit gun on their hands, and I feel like they're gonna go hunting. They're gonna do a little bit of hunting for Artemis. I don't think they know that Artemis has an operator. Better hide. I mean, especially if you're in that situation, like it's definitely both. It's kind of nerve-wracking, just because you are literally being hunted down. It's literally like, I don't know. It's awful. And it looks like Artemis just gives Zara the gun and still able to buy for themselves. That round, they definitely had to just give them that round. I mean, I love Artemis and I believe in them to an extent, but I don't think they were able to get that 1v4, especially with Spike being so close to detonation.
You want to play?
Yeah,
Let's
I think
play.
Asper was the real MVP there, taking out Soko, taking out that first blood machine. That was Raptors that had already rotated over. We're going to see Tour de Force versus Zara with the operator, and clearly Zara is the better chamber, at least in this exchange. And they're going to have a 5% over on this A site here. Sorry, not 4. My numbers messed up. We are going to see the Hunter come out and is able to find Minerva here, though, as Glitch finds Soko, and they are going to try and break that stage wall here. Still trying to go in for this plant here, possibly. No, it's actually Glitch here, taking a side while he was able to get the res off on Alana, give her the second chance with that the Tour de Force. And Zara's still just holding with that operator. I'm wondering if Glitch is trying to play a flank here. The dart isn't to get discovered and let them know there's still a presence over on the A site. We do see Artemis still playing pretty aggressive up mid, even though they are the only controller for their team. Trying to cut off rotates there. Glitch is going to get spawned out by the drone as they destroy it. Not quite seen. And through the smoke. Neither hit disconnect from either side. The plan is to go down. Katana finds Alana, and Artemis finds Glitch. You'll be able to get Katana and continue to try and plant here. 2v1 situation. Spike gets planted there. Both stuck behind box here though, but they keep swinging from separate sides and take this fight together, taking out Artemis, who's unable to get the clutch.
That res definitely came in clutch. They were able to have those numbers. I feel like as a Sage, it's really important to be able to know when to use your res, like know when to use your ult. Just because, especially in my elos, if my team doesn't have numbers and I have res, I am going to use that res 100%. Because putting pressure on the other team, just knowing that they have one more person to worry about, is definitely a way to get in there. Definitely a way to get into their head.
It was even bigger that they had that Tour de Force still. In your res, you keep it. So that was basically a 2-in-1 ultimate, kind of trading them out. And we didn't see it reinvest. We see some VM from Minerva as they get pinged by the drone, just kind of keeping that orb out. That was kind of cute. And we're going to see Asper playing from Nest, trying to find Soko, who's dropped down from their kind of higher off position. We're going to pop flash and swing and not find anybody here. We see that Minerva wall once again dying in the side lane, other than the Nest positioning. We're going to see some of this or not. They're just kind of holding the same angle here, waiting for anybody on the side of Kitbash to kind of slip up here and peek, while Zara, on the other hand, is holding this B main, where we see Glitch and Yubi making their way with the spike, trying to get some grounds there, and it looks like Zara is just holding this spots now. Is going to fall back, pull back their rendezvous, and now we can see the rotate starting to come out from the team. What's interesting to me here now, though, is that Yubi is about to get across and the ultimate comes out. Zara can't rendezvous out because they pulled it back and are hit, and they're basically Tour de Force list now. And Yubi's able to find them, getting the wall out, and Alana holding the rotate with that operator that they picked up. Minerva is the victim of that. And And now it's a 5v3 retake here. They do have the Blazestorm online for Soko, and they are pretty spread out between yellow and main. And we're gonna see how they execute here.
Revealing area.
As I'm watching, it seems like they're positioned for a like post plant retake kind of situation. They have everything, all this util being dumped on spikes just so they won't be able to defuse it is one of the best decisions they can make so far.
Yeah, they do have obviously those shock darts and those mollies to deny any defuse, but it's not enough as so far to be able to get the fuse here. And just gonna go ahead and bring this to a 5. Definitely already close.
I got things to do.
And we're gonna see a time
Very much.
on the side of Kitbash.
I'm very interested in seeing how the attackers are just gonna keep doing this because it seems like they put a lot of pressure on A. They didn't go A quite a bit, honestly. And putting that pressure on there is definitely one way to get Vivid kind of used to them going A, putting most of their resource players on A. So when and if they do make a B hit, it's kind of like they don't really expect it. I think the best to be try to get a pick off of A so that they have to rotate A to cover that missing player, and then make a B hit. Which honestly, I don't know if I see that going. What are your thoughts?
I feel like I completely zoned out and did not hear what you were talking about.
It's honestly completely fine because we're already out of our timeout.
Exactly, we're out of time. That's why I'm the play-by-play and not the color caster, because of the short-term memory. Haha. Either way, I can talk about the stat line I was looking at, which was like, obviously we've seen Soko be a first blood machine, but that's only on the defense. Like, they just apparently perform better, even as a duelist on the defense for Kitbash. And we've seen it here, obviously, playing in those aggressive off angles, able to get the pick, able to help them take space on those retakes with that smoke, with that dash in. And it's been very effective so far, and I hope to see more of it here as they increase their lead from that 5-2 gap. But we have Alana here holding up the operator, and we're going to see Zara peek it without a rendezvous to possibly get out. And they are going to find them, and Alana is able to rendezvous out at least. And it looks like after that pick, they're going to go ahead and go towards B because they think that mid pressure kind of was a B player. But there's now 2 players waiting for them now, and we see Minerva replace Zara on the mid pool. Will go out. Katana's going to go ahead and try to use the drone, but we're going to see Asper take that out of the equation. We're going to see the wall go up from the time plant. But the Katana gets walled up and is able to take them out. That's their controller gone. They're not going to have any smoke, only that safe ball to depend on the plant. Viper's Pit coming out alone with 100 Fury to try to deny plant. They're trying to play a default, it doesn't quite work. And there are Soko coming in to play off 100 Fury. Good for people getting taken out. It's Dawn, however, with 2 of her own here. And it's obviously now a 3v1 situation. 5 bullets, 18 health, finds another. Is able to get the reload off, but the defuse is coming through after Minerva walls herself up and walls them off the spike. Minerva with the quick thinking there. Not quite a panic wall, a very well thought out wall.
That was honestly, that was impressive. That was super impressive. I'm kind of. We had Don out here. Don was doing the most that round. That was beautifully played. Especially that Hunter's Fury. That Hunter's Fury really screwed over just like a tiny bit.
I feel like Dawn was surprised themselves by their pick on the flank. I'm not gonna lie, like they were like, wait, did I actually just hit that? And it was so funny to watch.
That's honestly, they're just like, wait a minute, what?
Exactly.
It's kind of funny.
And now we're seeing, them making their way all towards A. Nobody really holding the flank, which looks like Artemis is trying to capitalize on, but we'll see that chamber troop there. It does look like we see Alana realize this and is going back to go ahead and check it out here. And they're kind of gonna go right for this. And they're holding a cross though here with Soko and Zara here are holding a cross. But it's Soko that peeks it instead with the ego peek and is able to get a collat to take out Aspera and Glitch. That's their info, that's their controller gone. And they're going for more. That's their other info person gone. Yubi trying to make a difference here. They know they heard the updraft and Lana as well. Zara now 4K from Soko with the classic, and Zara, I don't want to say stealing the ace, but ensuring the flawless here as it's 7-2 now.
That was, okay. That was a little bit of a stolen ace, but honestly, as long as they, especially in like tournament styles, it's like honestly, as long as we get the round, it's fine.
Exactly.
It's fine. I need that round. Oh my goodness.
I mean, Soko again in their 4th kill with the classic too. That was pretty impressive.
What is Soko doing? What's happening? My
They're
goodness.
trying to get on yellow without
Honestly,
the updraft. They gave up. They gave up.
I feel that. I feel that.
And once again, though, they're going back for this A hit here, and we're just seeing, you know, Artemis, Katana here. Katana's gonna go ahead and send out that drone to confirm that there's a presence here. It's not quite gonna ping, but at least know that there is someone there. And we're gonna see a drone trade now coming out of Dawn here. We're gonna be moving away from that slow about a Minerva. And that orb is gonna go up rafters to deny any offing presence possibly. But the rotate has already come through. Soko's gonna make their way to rafters, probably for when that orb drops.
Welcome to
right now.
my world.
But they've given them too much room. Kitbash gonna have to play retake against his Viper's pit. The Viper has been planted. You're gonna try and get the plant out using that sage wall to block any possible spray through the smoke. A lot of holding the flank does learn that there's somebody there. You see Katana trying to go on to ropes, but it's Soko over on rafters that's able to connect. And we're seeing both of our Sovas with some action. Katana gets 2, Soko with another for 2, and it's Alana after being seen on the flank, kind of re-aggressing to find, or sorry, Zara re-aggressing on the flank against Alana to find that last person, allowing Artemis to get the defuse, and now the only 2 off from their ultimate, and the Vipers are on their own.
This turnout is really interesting, especially since we're so close to half being over. Is that Kit is absolutely dominating, going 8-2 right now, and I would have we did hear that that what's it called? That Vivid did dominate last match they played on Icebox. They absolutely dominated, but it looks like Kit is they're just simply better. And it is only the first half, so I am expecting to see some definite changes.
Yeah, we're definitely not seeing that domination that we were expecting to see here, and they are going to have to fight to stay alive in this series. We are going to see you get dinged by Soko playing once again in aggressive position, trying to look for another first blood for their team, and we're just kind of seeing now Soko still pushed up, hasn't fallen back, playing that same angle they originally dinged you beyond. Takes the dash away, Dawn trying to clear it with that drone, is able to detect that both Zara and Soko have fallen back now, and we're going to see Artemis playing again aggressive towards mid. I've never seen a Viper that only holds mid ever, and I'm not going to lie to you. Not able to rendezvous, exactly. We are able to see them rendezvous out because they get taken out by the KO knife. Now, Yubi gets found, and Dawn, they line up for Soko. Gets another 2 before getting traded out by Aspro, but Artemis is there from their mid positioning to get the trade.
I think
Last round before the switch.
I want to say it's gonna be a 9-3 kind of half, but just looking at their eco, it looks like Vivid isn't really able to do that, giving Kit the advantage here, and it's definitely really interesting. We've got a quick little technical pause that gives me a little more time to talk about the stats, and the stream director has given us a bunch of stats, literally stat dumping, honestly, but I respect the grind. And it looks like Vivid dominated 13-2 against Daylight on Icebox, which is honestly really interesting. And I'm not sure if we know which side they started on, but I don't want to say I'm disappointed, just taken aback. But I'm expecting huge change from Vivid, just because they are on attack, so it could very possibly go a very completely different way.
Yeah, it looks like Artemis is opting
Scanning ahead.
to kind of help out Soko on that B main first. And I do want to point out, we have gotten the information that Vivid was on the attack first. So this is not looking the greatest for them. We haven't really seen what they have to do on the defense.
You want to play? Let's play.
3 rounds, maybe. Max. And we do see Zara get ding tower by Yubi before being forced to fall back. And we have the tour de force now online for Alana. Now that we're going to see them hold B main now. And they're going to rotate back towards the A site with the spike, it looks like. And once again, we just see somebody in that mid positioning able to effectively rotate between the sites. Looks like Artemis trying to get here again, playing very aggressive for a controller, but it's working for the team. They do have a temperature there that's probably going to discover it, and it's going to get moved by and get distracted a little bit, somehow escape with their life after getting tagged by the start. And now we've seen the rest of Kitbash kind of towards backside as if it's now taking using that Viper Orb on Raptors and that wall now to Yubi. But Soko again,
30 seconds left.
Raptors, but isn't able to find anybody, and Yubi's like, not this time.
One
and
enemy
Vivid
remaining.
able to find Zara, Minerva, Aspera, Yubi, Minerva, and it's Kitana now with two, trying to keep them alive in this 2v1 situation, but it's ultimately some Sova on Sova as the Guardian able to
Switching
secure them
sides.
that 9-3 half that you were expecting.
Very, very much so. I was expecting this 9-30. Honestly, gives them a little bit of hope. Just because they were able to get at least 3, which should give them a little bit of advantage, a little bit of wiggle room, but not all that much. And it's gonna be definitely a little difficult because there is a 6-round cushion between Vivid and Kit right now. Kit is just
Precise.
like they played so well on defense, which is honestly beautiful, especially for this map, just because this map feels open. And I mean, it's a little more open than most maps, but it's, I don't know, I feel like we've definitely got to see a change. I don't know in what though.
Yeah, we did see Alana here, who is an attacking side playmaker for Vivid, but they're playing really aggressive here on top, have their rendezvous set up, maybe trying to deny any control over Garden there as they're trying to, they were gonna go there. I don't know why they changed their mind all of a sudden, but now they're making their way towards A and holding that mid position. This time they have 3 people mid kind of watching it over instead of 1 person, which is an interesting comparison change. And now they're kind of just setting up for this A. Yubi's gonna go ahead and wall it off and deny that plant, but it does, however, allow Minerva to go ahead and plant that ult core. Basically, it's getting ready for the lineup, but realizes that they're not here and just decides not to. And it looks like we've seen a little bit of an over-rotate out of Vivid. Now the whole team's making their way up through, through mid, now splitting back towards B main. Alana again in this really aggressive position, gonna peek and take out Minerva before rendezvousing out. But we see now Artemis playing window is able to find the pick there. I'll get probably half health. And it's Glitch now trying to fight them and contest with the 1v1 situation. And Dawn's able to get Artemis and Kitana, get healed by Yubi, find Zara on their own. Obviously now Soko left in a 3v1 situation, so we get pinged by the Silver Dart, and after they can swing and find them as well.
I saw a lot of, what is this gun? Ghost. I absolutely, my brain is also just not working today. But I saw a lot of ghosts, and I feel like, I don't know if I want to bring it up. Bizarre definitely whiffed a couple shots. No shame. Everyone does it once in a while. But it definitely seems like Vivid is going for that buy. They need as many rounds. They need as much of a leg up as they physically fit.
Oh no, the minima share with the calculator, buddy. I feel like that combo kind of works, but it's a minima. Either way, other than the skin analysis here, we are seeing 4 people stacked towards that A site with a lurk from Zara on her own. Maybe trying to get a pick, maybe trying to get that gun upgrade as we see Vivid on their eco round. We're gonna see Artemis maybe invest the wall over on that A site. They're kind of waiting. And they haven't walled yet. Bless you. And we're just getting ready. They do invest the wall, and they're gonna go to the 6 side.
Toxins failing.
We do have, however, after denying any util, however, from screens before getting taken out by Zara.
Toxin screen
on that,
down.
I was gonna say flank, joined up with the rest of the team. So this is able to find them. They're kind of spraying, not spraying with the Mars Marshall. You can't spray with a Marshall.
There they are.
Spamming with a Marshall. And it's
Enemy
Blitz
down.
who's gonna find Katana.
Right here.
Dawn's gonna find Minerva. And they know that one of them is in the Raptors. It's Soko with that Minima Sheriff. That's a big damage. And Artemis, I don't want to cross there. Drop to 5 HP. Artemis is able to find Dawn before swinging and getting a ping off. Trying to reach the Guardian from behind the box. But we see Alana with the wall bang, and Glitch is able to hold and find Soko. I would say that was a very beneficial eco round, but ultimately it's Alana.
Today, I'm afraid.
That buy definitely came out in their favor, but unfortunately they were not able to. I wouldn't say they weren't able to save guns. They saved 2 guns and weren't able to get the most out of them. Whereas it looks like Kit is definitely taking this opportunity to full buy, hoping that they can buy other util on top of rifles and full shields. I genuinely think that both teams will be screwed over if they lose. So I think I'm rooting for Kid. They're like, they woke up and chose violence, and most days that's what I do in my ranked games.
Speaking of choosing violence, Artemis, it's the 3rd round of the half, and they're already at 6 out of 7 on their ultimate. So if they get the plant down, which the spike is just dropped in spawn, they'll be able to get that hit online. And we see Soko getting a pick on Olana here, already making way for this B-side plant. And we see, like I said,
No charges left.
Artemis this time playing with the team has collected the spike, probably going for this, either gonna get this orb or gonna get this plant for their ultimate to be online. And they're just kind of making their way through green, taking over that control. They've kind of cleared out size yellow. We're gonna see the dart come through. I think it whiffed a little bit, yeah. Minerva does
No
not have
charges
their
left.
wall this round because they're on a partial save. But Artemis is gonna plant and get that virus put online. Or gonna pop it, and they decide not to. Maybe it'll be contingency plan here, as they do have complete side control. It's gonna be a 4v4 retake here. And they've spread out, and they know they have better guns likely because of the econ situation. And here we go.
Shutting them down. Enemy suppressed. Flash.
How they're gonna find Dawn as
Player
for pop
standing.
flashes, but Soko's able to find the pick regardless. And now you can run behind the wall, find Soko. We're getting traded out by Minerva, who swings, and it's now a 10-5.
It's really interesting. Like I didn't call it, but I kind of called it. Honestly, I feel like Kit is just my they're my spirit, like all of them, each and every one of them, they're my spirit animal, and I love that for them. And it looks like, oh, look at Minerva! Oh my god, I love Minerva so much. Okay, anyways, talking about the ego now.
Sages are just wholesome in general, you know? Come on.
I'm actually not, but anyways,
I
some
don't care,
are, some
okay.
are very
You're
much,
the
some are
exception
very much
to the
so.
rule. The exception to the rule.
And it looks like Kit is they're just buying, which is fair enough for them. They were able to win that.
Alana is able to get a first blood on their side this time, taking out Soko, taking out their like solo entry here. That's been a big play. Artemis lurking through mid's able to find Glitch, take out their controller there, and they get the orb back up here. And Katana's now with Spike B main, deciding to rotate out after probably getting that orb, and they will, it looks like, be now 2 off from their ultimate. And we're now going to see Zara pushed up in this kitchen position. But Asper's going to note using that knife. Alana now holding Snowman. Probably has a rendezvous set up over there. I'm trying to look at it. Like, they're waiting for the rendezvous to come back, it looks like. And we see Zara able to cross over. We might see Asper with the timing here. But Zara's like, nah, I'm going to go back and hold this. And we're going to see Artemis once again with their kind of off timing. And they get another one to clear out that site. And we're going to see the wall come in from Minerva to kind of guarantee that plant, to guarantee them some time. As now they set up for retake. What do you think we're about to see, Cindy?
Sorry, I was drinking water. Anyways,
No water
I'm
for you.
thinking-
Commentate.
okay, do you know what? That's fair. It looks like this Sofa drone is definitely going to give us some much needed info, but they do have post plans, which is also something that I'm worried about. Depending on how they're able to pull this off, it's going to be really interesting. Artemis is
player
just
standing.
leaving, and definitely the person to be.
But it's Minerva.
It's honestly, it's insane. Just because all these agents have just, we've got Vipers, we've got the KO, we've got Sova, with Sovas, and like they have so many what's the word? You just have a lot of post plant options, which I think is gonna be fairly difficult, especially for Vivid here because it looks like Artemis is really just. I mean, they are 17-7 right now, but it's gonna be a little bit difficult for Vivid just because of how Minerva and Artemis played off of each other that last round. And especially, I feel like it should be a little easier for Vivid because they do have 3 different agents who can play for close plant. They have, Dawn does have this Hunter's Fury up and running, and it seems like a very common pick for them, and I don't know, they're doing fairly good. What about your thoughts?
I think to flip it on its head here, Kitbash has a lot of ultimates basically almost ready to use at their disposal. If Katana gets the plant here, they'll have the Hunter's Fury online. And Artemis has had this Viper spin down for 2 rounds. It's almost like they're saving it for that match point to lock it down finally. And we're just kind of gonna see how it unfolds here as they're stacking towards this mid positioning. We've seen Artemis go mid with his orb quite a few times. Looks like they're operating it again. And now we're seeing Alana again. Progressing towards mid, so he does get pinged. Forces the ball off the tube, but still finds Alana again. Escapes with their life before actually getting traded out by Blitz with a Sheriff. Katana finds Astra. 3 bullets on Artemis' gun to give it a reload. And now they're all making their way kind of towards the kitchen. But Artemis once again opting to be more aggressive and the player who gets into an off-angle position. Blitz still playing with the Sheriff though. Looking for Katana here maybe in tube as the rest of the team is heading towards that B side, and it's going to be Minerva with the plant using that wall once again.
1 enemy remaining.
Left caught on guard. Katana good for 3 this round, 2 especially from that mid alert where Zara was about to get the sandwich either
Match
way.
point.
Katana fell, bringing it to now 12-5 match point for this map and the series possibly.
Very honestly interesting from Kit. When I heard that Vivid was the one who dominated this map against Daylight, I was really expecting this game to be 1-1 right now. And I don't know, I'm not disappointed, I'm just very surprised because we haven't seen Kit on this map until right now. They're doing pretty well, and I mean, they really did wake up and say, you know what, we ball, and just decided to take this this bracket especially and just make it theirs.
Yes, but Viv is not going down without a fight here. We see Alana pop that tour de force here and is going to try and lock it down the mid-rotate through tube here. We're going to see, obviously, the res is one off for Yubi. We see Dawn, like you said, with the Hunter's Fury glitch, has that Viper's Pit online. We have 2 Viper's Pit online. There's a lot of ultimates for both sides, and it'll be interesting to see how it unfolds.
Welcome to my world.
Then our first Viper's Pit come out for Kitbash here. Try and get them on that plant. Like I said, they say it's for match point. I was right. Yubi destroys that wall from Minerva. And we're going to see Katana also with their ultimate getting popped here to try and deny any control of the backside or any rotates coming through screens early on. The spike's still not planted though here. I don't know if Katana realized that they had the spike. And they're going to plant behind that wall, which is interesting. Try and get off default here, but they get pinged and taken out. 6 for plant, but Dawn finds them with Hunter's Fury. They all-star able to get a ping off on Artemis here. But now they kind of know where they are here as well. But Yubi's playing very up close and personal. Is going to swing off just out of view of Artemis. Swing around box. And they're playing this very well together. Just over HP. Artemis with the flick is able to get Yubi and stay alive. But it's Aspra and finds Artemis, and now glitches immediately on the spike with their maze. And they're just keeping that Dream alive. 12-6 now.
That info is really important. I feel like a lot of ults were used that round, which I'm actually really happy about. So, like I said last game, I don't think we saw very many ultimates being used, but we saw, I think, 3? And Yubi's sacrifice will be very much appreciated for that round, just because Yubi was able to, I mean, if you can get information before you die, then honestly, that's pretty ideal, pretty spot on.
Get out of my way.
We are seeing them kind of opt towards the B side this time. Blazestorm is out for Soko. Obviously here does like initially get caught by the knife from Aspra, but we're back at This now Alon gets pretty much around, but it's still
Ooh.
holding and gets punched by Soko with the Blade Storm. Now it's a 5v4 situation. Obviously, we do still have the ultimate that Viper spit online for Glitch if they're able to rotate over and get that pick. We do see them catch almost Dawn behind that wall, and now Soko's going hunting with the Blade Storm. You will Minerva. Uses Dawn with 1, now 2. Tries to swing, but Soko shuts them down. Yubi and now Asper coming late through mid, pops the no command. The wall is out, the clock is ticking. Soko once again playing very aggressive here. They know that they're yellow now, and they now fall back to maybe play off of Zara's contact. Basically, top and bottom frags versus some bottom frags. The wall again from Yubi gonna come out, they're gonna try and stick it here. We do have
player standing.
Soko through wall bang.
enemy
Break the wall,
remaining.
able to get 1.
will
Yubi
not
now
die
tapping, clock ticking. Spike is not half. Are gonna stick it, but they can wall bang. Are they not gonna wall bang it? It's half, and they get to swing, and just like that, 13-6.
Attackers win.
Kitbash takes it and are advancing to the grand finals.
That was absolutely insane. That was really impressive, especially that last round. I'm really happy about that turnout, and I did favor Kitbash quite a bit. But Vivid also they put up a fight. Unfortunately, it was not enough, but they put up a fight.
Yeah, I feel like the players I wanted to see step up, like Alana did step up, but ultimately it wasn't enough. Because Soko was neon and making some moves on Pearl, obviously, but they obviously popped off like this is their map, this is their agent here. And it was just very hard to shut them down with the first bloods on defense and then taking so much space on the attack in the second half. And ultimately,
Very much a first blood
like,
demon.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a very interesting fight from ASAP versus Kitbash when we get there tomorrow. Or
Goodness, I'm excited, very much excited for that.
And speaking of who's moving on and what these games are gonna be, we're gonna go ahead and look at the remainder of the tournament and its bracket. And you can see here, grand finals will be ASAP, which I have personally already seen them fight off Team Soccer, and that was an interesting series, even though it was 2-0. And it'll be against Kitbash here, and I already know we have some real standout chamber players on the side of ASAP. Like I said, we have like 2 or 3 chambers, and like that's all they play in the like the comp maps they play. And so it'll definitely be interesting to see how Zara fares against them. And yeah, is there anything else that you want to say about the bracket that you're thinking it's gonna line up with?
Yeah, looking at Kitbash and ASAP currently, is that I'm looking at ASAP's right now. Looks like they really dominated. They really did not take anything, and it was honestly their team looks pretty stacked. Their players know how to play their class, and that's amazing because I don't know. It's just seeing a player be able to fully play a certain class or certain agent fairly well is beautiful and also really dangerous. But
speaking of being able to play your agent very well, Artemis, they didn't really change their play style, even though like they were the only controller for their team. I feel like they knew when to be reserved, like when they had their ultimate online or when they knew like their wall was essential for a rotate. But otherwise, they were running it down mid on attack and on defense a lot.
They're insane. Insane.
It was definitely interesting to say the least. Were there any other standouts other than Soko or Artemis for you, like between Kitana, Zara, and Minerva, and anything you saw from them during that game?
I feel like Dawn and Kitana, they both played Sova. They played fairly well with their agents, and especially Dawn, because we did hear that Dawn's their most favorite agent was Sova.
Exactly. And
I love a little bit of Sova. Sova always holds a place in my heart. But that's definitely interesting. So it was Soko versus Alana that we wanted to see. That was they made a very much an impression on us.
I was really looking forward to Alana stepping up here on Icebox because they were obviously running like the neon on Pearl, so I was hoping they would run another duelist. but I do think they definitely like gave Zara a run for their money on the chamber here. We saw them like challenging Zara quite a few times mid and winning a few of those fights, getting up close and personal on B main. But ultimately, like we said, it was Soko with, you know, popping off with the kills that they needed ultimately to get into sight, to get those plants down on the attack instead. That was just too overpowering, even for, I think it was more like, just like, I don't know what it was, but it was just Soko overpowering Alana's like kills and like the impact frags that she was able to maintain.
No, for sure. I feel like, and we've had 7 first bloods. Soko has 7 first bloods. And whereas Alana has 5. Both really put up a fight. Both were not ready to give up quite yet. Which honestly is what I love to see in a player, just not really giving up.
But like I said, and I wish I could see this here, but like the first bloods we saw from Soko were more on the defense, while Alana's were like I think split between the defense and the offense. Like Alana's came from like peeking out of mid 2 with the Tornado Forts and then rendezvousing out, while Soko's was either from the rotates over before they hit a site and were up on rafters, or they were playing that aggressive position on top of yellow and able to dash out effectively before getting kind of like disabled by Asper with that KO knife.
Yeah, they had a fairly aggressive couple holds, especially up on yellow. It wasn't, I don't think it was, I mean, they were kind of helpful, but definitely not as needed.
Exactly. Either way, Vivid will go on to play Sakura in the 3rd place game. So what do we think has to change in order for them to have a chance at that 3rd place spot in this tournament?
Honestly, I feel like it's just in mostly strats. Because I feel like, I mean, yes, agents are very much important for like, especially a lot of agents are more favored in certain maps, but it definitely depends on the strats and the amount of wiggle room that you have, and not allowing that 3-round difference to just be a thing. You have to really keep it close.
This is true. We did see them try to take those timeouts to stop momentum and rethink their strategies, but then after those timeouts, they would usually get one before then Kitbash was like, yeah, no, this is where we control the momentum here. You guys tried. You got your point. Good job. We're coming back and hitting harder. It's just like they were able to adapt to those changes so on the fly on the side of Kitbash here. And I feel like Sakura was slower to adapt against ASAP in that semifinals match. So I think it's going to be a pretty even matching in terms of like learning from each other. And obviously they can, in the next day, review the VODs from the games if they really want to. Not try hard. But they have some time to prepare and kind of figure out how they want to play against each other on both of these teams as they go on to the grand finals and 3rd place respectively. And I can't wait to see it. I know you're going to be on the analyst desk for the grand finals, is that correct?
I will be the resident analyst. I got you guys. Oh my god, I'm kind of nervous now that you brought it up.
No, you're going to do amazing. You're pointing out first bloods. You're pointing out everything here. And
honestly,
just before we go, I wanted to thank you, Cindy. It was amazing commentating with you again. And we will see you guys again tomorrow. Is there anything else you would want to add, Cindy?
No, actually, just thank you guys for being here. This was fun. I guess we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you so much and have a great night.